Thanks for tuning into the Rosas show. In this episode, I'm going to be taking on Donkey Kong Country for the Super Nintendo, but I'll actually be playing it on the Wii U. A funny thing is, I actually do own it for the Super Nintendo, but the Wii U was just easier to record for this review. Donkey Kong Country was developed by Rare, who you may know for creating other classics such as Banjo-Kazooie, Conker's Bad Fur Day, and GoldenEye for the Nintendo 64. And they also created some other games like Connect Sports, but we're not going to mention that. So, the game takes place on an island. I'm going to call this place Donkey Island because even when I tried to Google it, I couldn't find it. Wait, hold up. I think it is actually called Donkey Island. I may be confused, but I actually do believe that. So, yeah, I'm gonna go with Donkey Island. Anyways, King Cruel and the Kremlin steal all of Donkey Kong's bananas, and in result, this makes Donkey Kong go crazy. You can say, he went bananas. And his mission is to get them back. Donkey Kong isn't alone. First, he is joined by Diddy Kong, who is Donkey Kong's nephew. Diddy will be on your side the whole adventure. Next up, we have Cranky Kong, who basically tells you that you're doing a bad job and will lecture you each time he can. But you should pay attention to him, as he may provide you with some hints. Next up, we have Candy Kong, who gives you some sugar. And by sugar, I mean the ability to save, you perverts. She's my favorite because when you see her, it's like a breath of fresh air. You will die a lot, so when you get the chance to save, please do. And last but not least, we have Funky Kong, a monkey who flies you around the island to locations you have previously visited. Donkey Kong Country is a side-scrolling platformer. You can either play as Donkey or Diddy Kong throughout your whole adventure. The controls are simple. Use A to jump, B to sprint, and X while running to roll. Well, that's how they were for the Wii U version, I think. If I recall correctly, you could customize the controls on the Wii U, so they might be different. Even though I'm playing this game many years later, the controls still feel fluid and crisp as they did in the past. The jumping, rolling, and overall movement of the characters feels wonderful. Having tight and responsive controls on a platformer is a requirement, especially one that is going to take you for a wild ride. You're going to be traveling through jungles, temples, underwater caves, factories, and many other locations. The way the game is structured is, you will beat a set of levels and then you will face a boss. Throughout the world map, you'll be finding other levels such as saving and flight levels. Remember what I said, make sure you save. This game isn't as easy as it sounds. Each level comes with a different set of obstacles. These obstacles come in many different forms such as bad guys, jumping across vines, and making sure you don't overshoot the barrel. And trust me, you will do that a lot. Donkey and Diddy Kong can take down enemies by either jumping on them, rolling over them, or using a barrel to take them out. It's a simple system, but it works. I think platforming games that have a simple combat system work better. They don't need to be complex. It's usually jump on top of an enemy or roll into them, and Donkey Kong Country's combat system is perfect for what kind of game it is. But you have to be careful though. Enemies can also hit you. If you are to get hit, one of the Kongs will die. If you both die, you will lose a life. But if one of them is alive and you find a barrel with the letters DK on it, you will get a Kong back. As you progress through the game, these enemies will get more difficult to take down. Some are so tough that Diddy cannot take them down by himself. He will either need a barrel or help from Donkey Kong. They each have their differences. Donkey Kong is tougher and can take on larger enemies, but Diddy is faster and he just feels a little bit better to control. The player can switch between both throughout the game, which is awesome because in some situations you have to use your brain or know who you're going to sacrifice first. Donkey and Diddy Kong aren't the only playable characters in the game. You will also get help from special animals depending on which level you're in. The animals are Rambi the Rhino, who would charge through enemies and through certain walls, Espresso the Ostrich, who can fly to great heights, Unguard the Swordfish, who would charge at enemies with a sharp nose, Winky the Frog, who can jump super high, and last but not least, Squawks the Parrot, who holds a light for you, but for only one level. Yeah. The sidekicks help you storm through a level, but they don't only help you with that. If you collect 3 other tokens, they take you to a bonus round where you can collect bananas. Depending on how much you collect, you are rewarded with lives. Let's say you never played a platforming game in your life. Lives work like this. You die and you lose 1. If you reach 0, it is game over. Not only can you lose lives, but you can also gain. In Donkey Kong Country, you can gain more lives by collecting 100 bananas, doing a bonus round, or finding the red balloon with DK space on it. Throughout the levels, you may see random letters scattered around. These aren't random, dummy. They have a purpose. They spell out Kong. These don't add to your completion percentage, but they do present you with the life if you collect all 4 letters in one stage. These are my requirements for a platforming game to be good. It has to give the player the feeling of adventure, the controls have to be tight and responsive, and it just needs to be fun. Donkey Kong Country does a great job of doing these things. It presents a great sense of exploration. You'll explore so many different areas that you feel like you're actually traveling through the island. Each area is awesome. You feel like you're running through the jungle, swinging vine to vine. You'll be on top of a mountain in a blizzard trying to make it across slippery cliffs, swimming underwater dodging octopuses. I really hate these and everyone's favorites, riding a minecart through an abandoned mine. It's plain and simple. If you're looking for an awesome platformer, play this. Yes, there may be moments where you want to give up and throw the controller, but don't do that. First of all, those controllers are expensive, and second of all, getting upset is bad for your blood pressure. I'm just trying to help you guys out. High blood pressure is a serious thing. Like with any other platformer, take your time. Think about your actions. If you think a wall, jump, or tree looks too suspicious, don't jump. You're probably going to die. The gameplay is wonderful. I now understand why people put this as one of their favorite games on the Super Nintendo. 20 years later, this game still feels amazing. At the end of each segment, I like to include my dislikes. But in this game, there isn't much I disliked. One thing I haven't brushed up on though are the bosses. Honestly, in this game, they are fun. They are complicated but simple when you figure it out. Some platformer games have terrible boss fights, but this game does a good job with them. This game is 20 years old and it still looks amazing. The art style Rare created for this is fantastic. It's colorful, looks amazing for a Super Nintendo title, and it animates beautifully. The art style is so fantastic that other games were created using it. That tells you something. I love when a game makes you feel like you're there. What I mean by this is if the game tells me I'm in the jungle, I want to feel like I'm in the jungle. Donkey Kong does a great job of doing that. The bosses, enemies, and the other Kongs look amazing. They each look so unique. Yes, some of the models are reused and just recolored, but for a Super Nintendo game, I understand why they did it. The combination of animation, graphics, and character models makes this game shine. Rare nailed it. I don't know if you actually been paying attention to the music in the background, but before Nintendo takes down this video for using their music, let me say this, it's fantastic. The music in the game is awesome. Each level has their own tracks and it's amazing. Some platformers have okay music and it's honestly forgettable, but in this game, the tracks are on point. I know I sound like I'm kissing this game's ass, but I'm okay with that. This game honestly deserves it. If I had to put Donkey Kong Country in a top 5 list, I would probably put it as number, I actually don't know, but it's definitely on top 5 of all time. One last point, I don't know if you guys want me to go over the ending with you guys of each game, but I'm going to do it for the sake of this video. It feels like it wraps everything all together and you guys get to know what happens. So in the end, you fight King Cruel. You kick his ass once and guess what? You fight his ass again. Once you beat him twice in a row, he will return your bananas and everyone is happy. It goes to a scene where Donkey Kong's in his place and he's dancing with his bananas. It puts the music on and he gets all happy. That's one happy monkey. To me, that is what happiness is. So yeah, that's basically the end of Donkey Kong Country. Donkey Kong Country is a wonderful package. It is fun, difficult at times, and it's a game I honestly remember for the rest of my life. So if you haven't played it, it's available on almost everything, so please try it. Thank you, Rare, for creating such a wonderful experience. I give Donkey Kong Country 5 bananas out of 5. Thanks for watching this video. If you want to see my playthrough of Donkey Kong Country, click on the end note that shows a picture of Donkey Kong Country to go to the first episode. Subscribe and please let me know what game you guys want to see next. And also, any comment, any input is awesome, so please comment down below and let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching. See you next time.